Well, as Frodo said, "It's gone! It's done! Yes, Mr. Frodo, it's over now." Okay, I don't mean to make it sound so negative. I had lots of fun doing it, but yeah, I finished. Like, that just astounds me. A few days ago when I uploaded Wrath on the Rails, I was kind of in this mindset of, just get it done, just get it done. And, it's not that I was like, I want to just get it over with, but, at the same time, I kind of was. But, yeah, once I uploaded it and premiered it, it just dawned on me like a huge chunk of my life or, activities are now free. Like most of my activities were dedicated to the engines of Sodor and stuff like that. So it just feels really weird, now knowing that you don't have some big project related to that you have to get done. And, that's kind of a sad thing, but, it's a good thing as well, it's because, now I can use my time for other things. And so yeah, this is just kind of a basic thank you video, and just me talking about the future of my channel. And yeah, so I want to start off by saying the reason I want to tell you the reason why, the actual reason I wanted to stop the engines of Sodor. And I've already talked about this on Twitter, but I feel like, the general public now should know. So basically, right now I'm in a community college. I'm still living at home, but I'll be transferring to a four-year college in well, technically be doing 2 years at a four-year college, but you know how it is. But anyway, I'll be transferring to a full college this fall, hopefully, fingers crossed. But so yeah, and I won't be living at home anymore. So basically, if I'm in a dorm or an apartment, it would just be, well, first of all, just logistically making trains videos, it would be a lot harder because, I probably wouldn't have my own full desktop computer or anything. And, yeah, and also just stuff like, keeping it secret from my roommates or things like that. Just little minor but significant stuff for me at least. So, yeah, I just decided, why not just, instead of putting it on an indefinite hiatus, or just leave it hanging, why not just give it a good end, because the last thing I'd want to do is just to have it open ended and just never finish it. So I decided, just conclude it with a big epic final. And honestly, if it were up to me, and I had like another year, I would have definitely done another season, because to be honest, I feel like the first two seasons of Engines of Sodor, in my opinion at least, are absolute shite. Yeah, I just cringe, especially stuff like how the Diesel stole Christmas. Oh my god, like, yeah, I mean, if you love it, that's fine. I'm very happy you do. It's just my opinion personally. Oh god, like Diesel 10 I mean, no, Diesel regenerating like Doctor Who. But anyway, so so yeah, bottom line, I wanted to give it a good end, and I had this idea for a good finale for well over a year. I think I decided to end it around late 2017, and I thought maybe I'd just give it a good two-part episode relating to, like, safety of the railway is at stake, or Sir Topham gets sued, and that's basically, that was incorporated into the final product. But then I think it was after I saw what was it? Darn it, what's it? Turtles and Thomas. What's the name of his series? But not Endgame. But the not Sins, was it? But anyway, his final. I saw that, and it just occurred to me, like, I could do something just like this. And so, yeah, I had that whole idea for like a year and a half, basically. And, yeah, as far as the actual final product, I think for the most part it turned out really well. There's definitely things I would, change if I did it over again. Like for one thing, plan ahead, and you know, I feel like personally, I mean, other people have told me this, but stuff like the whole subplot with Grubb's lawyer and the Russian mafia men coming in at the last minute. Those were kind of changes that were necessary, but I understand why people didn't like them. The thing was, well, as a matter of fact, Thitkins was supposed to die when he was shot by the police at the end of Phantom Saboteur. But then, as I finished it, I suddenly realized, like, how is Bogaston gonna carry out his revenge if it's only him? And so I spared Thitkins, but even after that, I decided, like, it's just the two of them. How are they two people gonna, do much damage, just logistically? And so, I decided, I just didn't want to bring henchmen out of the blue because everybody would be like, where the F did these people come from? So I just kind of made it at the last minute. He knows a Russian mafia boss who has a bunch of men, so they're technically not like loyal, but they're just doing the job. Yeah, we are just doing our job, as Vlad said. And the whole Russian thing was inspired by me going to Russia this summer. I hope that didn't offend any Russians, but anyway. So yeah, and with Grubb, I thought, oh, it would be another interesting twist if Grubb's lawyer was in on the plot. Like because like yeah, it kind of made sense because Grubb's lawyer, if he was in on the plot, he would convince Otto Grubb to take the case to trial and so forth, and so yeah, and I just didn't want to leave Otto Grubb, hanging, if you know what I mean. Just leave him out of the rest of the final. I wanted to address him. I do admit, I probably should have not just killed him off, and I guess the engine's cheering over his death, I guess was not didn't work as well as I thought. Yeah, to me when I first wrote it, I thought it would just be a black, dark joke. Like, oh, he's such a horrible man, no one cares that he's dead. But I could have probably written it differently. But anyway, those are just addressing some issues people had. And yeah, the final's done. Wow, it's crazy. Yeah. So I want to talk about the future of my channel, and yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions like, oh, are you gonna do more Engines of Sodor? So bottom line is, well, I'll probably take a huge break for a while, but I'll let me make one thing certain: I'm definitely still gonna be active on Twitter, at least for the near future. Yeah, in fact, I have a review of some other fan films coming up. Um, it'll be a surprise, but I've been doing a review of a good friend of mine's films, and yeah, so basically, I'll still be active on Twitter, and I'll do stuff like reviews or commentaries or uh, YouTube poops. Yeah, definitely more YouTube poops. I had a lot of fun doing those, but it was hard to find time to do those when you're. But yeah, now that I don't have to do constant episodes anymore, it completely lifts a huge burden off me, and now I can do whatever the hell I want. As far as Thomas, yeah. So as far as like new series I'd make or new stories, so at this point I can't tell you. I just don't know if I'd restart, a series. And but I will say this. Well, first of all, any new aside from like a small one-time thing, maybe I do a small prequel or something within the universe of Engines of Sodor. I'm not gonna, continue the Engines of Sodor. anything else I do as far as series will be a full reboot. And then second, it probably won't be in Trains. I like Trains fine, and it's been a good experience, but it's I feel like, well, first of all, just logistics. If I have my own computer and all that stuff, and it's just basically feel like Trains Thomas is not the same as it used to be. Like Soda Island 3D's gone, and I guess Wild Nor'Wester's now, well, site's gone. Yeah, and yeah, there's definitely other models out there, but I feel like at the moment there isn't really enough content to really create a full fleshed out series. Trains 2019, I've noticed is quite expensive, and who knows if Trains will still even be there in the next few years. But I was honestly worried, while I'm making this final, like, would Trains still keep running throughout the next, just would it still keep running? Like, would I come to a point where I need to update it, at the final moment? And yeah, it was Trains 2010, so that's really outdated nowadays. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, I know full well that there's lots of good content from people like Soda Workshops or Mainland Studios and etc. But it's more of like for upper Trains versions like 2019, A New Era, and so forth. So yeah, I think if I were to restart a series, I think it would most likely be some sort of physical thing, like either Wooden Railway or models, model trains or things like that. Yeah, honestly, I would have preferred to have done Wooden Railway back when I started, but it's a huge hassle. It's expensive, and you have to get all the scenery right. It's just you know you'll probably notice I've done a lot. I did try doing a remake of The Sad Story of Henry, and I also tried doing one of Bulgy, and then Thomas and Bertie's Thomas and Bertie, and it just building the sets. It's really time consuming, and there's also the issue I was still at home, so my parents would probably it would interfere with my parents and things like that if they saw sets being built all over the house. But yeah, that's if I decide to do a new type of series, and at this point, again, I have no idea if I will restart. Yeah. Basically, my original plan was to just get out of the fandom completely, but it's just too hard to do that. Like I'll still be an active member of the fandom, but you just won't be seeing regular things from me. Again, you'll see things like that are not, like reviews, YouTube poops, and I guess maybe occasionally some. Well, this is less likely, but maybe some spin-off or just one-time story or remake. But other than that, it's not gonna be like story related. And yeah, as far as me doing stuff like voice acting, at this point, I'm gonna have to say, unless either I've already volunteered to do it for you, or I know you very well, and there's only a few people like that. Generally, I don't think I'm gonna be doing voice acting just on a whim. And how do I say this nicely? I don't know how to say this without sounding egotistical or anything, but I don't want to be voicing for like every single, newcomers, I can't be doing like 10 voices for series that like may not even get started, or you know what I mean. And again, I'm trying to make that sound as polite as possible. I'm not at all, disrespecting, any newcomers or younger people, but it's a lot of work, and I guess that should So yeah, I'll be. So that's what I'm gonna do with voice acting. So if I haven't talked with you before, or you're not like, well, yeah, I guess if you haven't talked with me before, I'm probably not gonna voice act unless I feel like the project's really worth it and all that. But yeah, I hope you can get an idea of what I mean. So yeah, I guess I want to take this next time to just say thank you for all the support I've had over the years. 6 years, wow. And just yesterday, on Twitter, I got a mention from, of all people, WTL Network, talking about how Wrath on the Rails was a good example of a good Thomas fan film. And it just blows my mind that, someone as famous as him, considers my work spectacular. Yeah, just, yeah, I'm just, I never expected to be, working with people like Enterprising Engine 93 and to get mentioned by people like Mainland Studios or, yeah, it's just unbelievable. And also, I guess I've seen some users who I worked with before who have become really talented as well, like the German of Sodor, Carson, and, yeah, it just, I never thought I would get that far. You know, I remember once reading a tweet from someone saying something like, this fandom has a whole hierarchy, or how do I describe it? It was something along the lines of like, the people at the top of the fandom are completely. How do I just? It's like an elitist group where you can't get in if you're not at the top of the fandom and all that. You can't succeed. Pardon my language, but I think that is absolute and utter bullshit because look at me. I was just a nobody who started making crap videos and look at me now. Like, yeah, as I've said before, things like visuals don't really matter as much as you think they do. All you need is a good story, and that's the main thing, story. If you can get a good story going, you'll do well. And yeah, get just keep you the key is to just keep posting lots of videos and eventually, the views will go up over time. That's mainly my main thing and yeah, I've definitely helped some other people in the fandom achieve this as well. So yeah, don't think that you can't have a chance because you're a newcomer. If you know what I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, I guess you probably do need some sort of actual props and all that, but you can get that. I just got it all on my computer. Trains 2010 and all the models and the only really other equipment you need physically is well a computer maybe and editing software and maybe a microphone and yeah it you really don't need that much. You don't need to be like EE93 who like takes his trains to New Zealand and yeah you don't need to be that extreme but so yeah you guys have been like more grateful than I mean, I am extremely grateful for all the support I've gotten over the years. Like it's gotten to a point where I get so many praising messages that I just can't look at them all anymore. I can't scroll through every comment because there's just so many, and yeah, I'm probably rambling a bit here, but you know what I mean. Wrath on the Rails has like well over 1,000 likes in just what is it, 3 days? That is significant. Like for someone who's not like a heavy YouTuber, that's really significant. You know, I don't make money off of these YouTube videos. Well, first of all, I think, well, the main reason is, you know, my debit card is linked to my parents' account, and I always wondered if they'd get suspicious if they saw all this strange money coming in, and then I'd have to, you know, explain. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I never really got like money. I never monetized my videos, and that's because, you know, I enjoyed doing them. I didn't need the money. I wasn't doing it for, you know, funds and all that. So it was just a pure hobby, and yeah, so I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you. I could not have done it without you. And as I've said before, you know, I don't have many friends in real life, but regardless of what crap goes on, you know, I can always come on YouTube and know I still have people here. Like, I think I have over like 30,000 subscribers, and just from someone who started out as a nobody. And yeah, and you know, I want to personally thank Sodor Island 3D for giving me the chance to express my creativity just through a computer, and you know, not just them, but also, you know, the other model makers out there, and also the voice actors who have you know, brought the series to life, and yeah, man, I yeah, I just don't know what to say. You guys are the best, and yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Just thank you. Um, I hope the Engines of Sodor has provided, you know, a good space in your life, and yeah, yeah, and another thing, you know, as I've said before, some of my episodes were absolute crap, but despite that, I've never really gotten hardly any negative or harsh feedback. You know, like I've heard all the stuff like, oh, the Thomas fandom is toxic and all that, and honestly, I've never experienced it. I mean, I've gotten an occasional troll who will like talk shit, but other than that, you know, I've never really been bullied. I've never been mocked or things like that. So honestly, I feel like the statement like the Thomas fandom is toxic is a bit of a generalization. Like I understand, you know, it does have issues, but honestly, compared with some other fandoms I've seen, it's nowhere near. In my opinion, you know, the fandom is, you know, mostly good. It's just, you know, a few people who seem to get all the attention, and we just shouldn't focus on that, you know. So yeah, thank you guys for giving me the support over the years, and this is Thomas 1, Edward 2, Henry 3, signing out.